Hey there, everyone. Happy Friday. Today, in this video, we're going to take a look to see what the moving averages and the RSI can tell us about crypto and its next direction, starting with Bitcoin. But we'll also touch on XRP, Ethereum, Solana, and SUI is everybody's favorite because of the hog call. But we'll see where we're sitting at right now and where we could go from here. And if you guys want to see more technicals, more commentary, you want to see my stock market buys and sells, you guys can check that out using the link in the description for the Discord. To sign up using the code word doctor to get 50% off your first month when you sign up for the earner tier. Join the thousands of members who are already over there and loving everything that they have to find. I'll tell you more about that later. In the meantime, right over to the charts on this one. So the very first thing, like I said, for Bitcoin, let's zoom in here. Actually, let's digress just for one quick moment. The NASDAQ 100, by the way, is currently at all-time highs. Perfect. S&P 500. So this is the SPX, the index itself. We actually fell short by about 6 points, 6.42 points away from the all-time high that we hit back on February the 19th, I believe was that day. This is the weekly chart that we're looking at here. So, and you can actually see that in the back, SPX 1W. So for the weekly chart, most likely today we'll hit that one if the futures market and if the pre-market has anything to do with it, we'll likely get there. So now for Bitcoin, what does that tell us about this? Well, first of all, looking at this daily chart and zoomed out the way we are, it is a little bit bull flaggy looking, which is a good thing. That could point us up around 130,000 per BTC if we can keep going. The momentum, the RSI on the daily chart is absolutely ripe right now, sitting up above at 55. So we're in bullish territory, but we're not in the overbought status. We are sitting also on top of the 5 and the 13, but we're getting some candles of indecisiveness here. So it really is important to see the direction that we come next. It would be nice to have some volume conviction, because if I zoom out and you take a look down here at the volumes, you'll notice that the last time that we had huge volumes on this Bitcoin chart will go all the way back to November the 6th, all the way up until December the 5th. And everything after that has been relatively subdued. We haven't seen the major volumes. Let's go to the weekly chart for a moment. You can see the sort of volumes we got when Bitcoin was cheap. And I guess there's going to be a natural taper over time for Bitcoin, but really things have leveled off. You can see the sort of normalizing that we see following, looks like about August of 2021. There we go. So a thinly traded market, by the way, could lead to additional volatility, which could mean further downside, but also further upside. But with the ETFs that are out there, Bitcoin's price has honestly stabilized pretty well compared to what it has been historically. I am watching on the RSI down here this bearish divergence that we're getting, by the way. So we have price up, we have momentum down on the weekly basis. So should this thing snap to the downside, it could be pretty violent, which could set up some amazing opportunities in the crypto market. If instead it follows this bull flaggy pattern that we get, that's right here. I'm going to unhide the technicals just for a moment, and then we can talk about what exactly that could mean. I'll grab a Fibonacci extension and we'll grab there we go, the flagpole on that, the flag size of this. And that actually points us at 135,806 would be that number that we're looking at. And that's pretty much in line with the price targets that I have for 2025, which land us around that 139,000 mark per BTC by the end of 2025. So we might not go straight there, but I do think that we could head there throughout 2025. We'll see what we get in the markets. I think there could be a bit of a shakeout for all the risk assets that are out there during 2025 here. I think that there's going to be one big fat scary moment, especially as we're near those all-time highs, trying to find out pretty much where that top is and where we can mess around with things. Got to still be a little bit fearful of the double top for things like the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500. Now, mind you, we can keep on climbing through the middle of July. Usually the first half of July is pretty good. Usually second half of July is where you start to see some sort of turmoil, but we do have the labor market reports coming out next week. We got to be very mindful of those, and also the inflation reports that follow. We want the Fed to have every reason possible to cut rates for us sooner than expected, but not wildly so. We just want to have convincing arguments to say that inflation is going to continue to subside and continue to be subdued, and that the labor market is still in a strong state, but we should probably do something before mass destabilization should take place. So, well, let's pop this back up here. So we might go straight to that 135, almost $136,000 value per BTC. It could happen in this next run. So we could see that over the next few weeks to maybe next couple months. We'll watch and see if that's what we get. or it could soften on us and we could head back down to this shelf down here around 71,000 per BTC. And you would hear doom and gloom and like, is crypto over with, blah, blah, blah. And you have a whole bunch of fearful. And when you start to watch for that peak fear moment, you can start to plan out, okay, here's what we're going to do about it. So for me, I'm looking for that opportunity for that next big entry in the crypto space. Maybe we enjoy that ride up in the meantime. And if so, if I'm strongly convinced, I might even use some options plays in the stock market to take advantage of that and take some outsized gains on it along the way. Over to XRP, weekly chart getting rejected off the 13 and the 5, heading down towards the 50, but the RSI is also near 50. We could have this momentum shift on us at any point in time. And when we drop down to the daily chart for XRP, we actually are still sitting in that pocket of support, that area of support that happens to be down below that we peekabooed out of a couple times now. So we can see it back over here. You can see it developing over time. We keep on finding that buying pressure. We do want to get over this trend line that you see coming down the middle of your screen. And as per the moving averages, where do we find ourselves? Well, we're down below the 5, the 13, and the 50. That's signaling that could potentially be in bearish territory, along with an RSI that is also down below 50. And if that weekly RSI fails to turn things around and keeps on falling down below 50, we could find ourselves in bargain territory for XRP in the near future. So we'll watch and see if that's what we get. If support does hold, then watch for those moving averages to be crossed over and for the RSI to cross back over 50, because those can be some of the first indicators that we get. As a matter of fact, wait until you see Ethereum, because that is showing a lot of promise right now. Let's go over to Solana for the moment, because building up here, XRP so far, not the greatest look. Solana has an RSI that is climbing, but down below 50. So we need to keep pushing that. We have the close right now. The active candle is just up above the 5-period moving average, the exponential moving average. The yellow 13 that we have here needs to be crossed. You can see the selling pressure over the last 4 days before today. Not necessarily all that great for us, but I will say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 5th candle. So we're going to pick up starting here, and we're going to have a lower number here. So that's actually going to push the 5-period down unless we get a strong day today for Solana and we end up closing up higher than this candle that we had back on the 24th. So we do want to watch for that. Now, mind you, the 13 period, if we click on this and go back 13 candles, at 16, 14, right here's the 13th one. That close puts us really darn close to where our current price action is. So if we stay near there, then the 13 period doesn't really get affected much at all. We want to see that price action continue to push higher. And Bitcoin, I think, is going to lead the sentiment for the crypto space. We need Solana to recover a bit more from where it's at right now to put in that convincing argument that it's on its way up. The weekly RSI and the candles themselves, if you look at these, you can see the selling pressure that we've gotten. We had an indecisive candle here, sold down below, which can indicate the next direction. And now we failed to break the 5, which is down below the 13 and the 50. So that's a bearish structure with bearish RSI. So I think that it all does start with the daily chart here, that we need to get over those moving averages and get that RSI crossing over 50. And then maybe from there, we can turn things around on a weekly basis. Really, the big resistance to watch is that about 150 mark for Solana, because that's about where we find that 50 EMA coming in. And if we put up the simple moving averages just for a moment on here, you can see the rejection that we got off the 20-day. That can be a big signal to us as well. That's just south of $148 per SOL token. And, maybe we are SOL on that. Maybe we're not SOL. We're going to have to watch and find out. SUI, we got rejected off the 200, off the 20, sold down massively on this one. Let's put up the EMAs and see how it's doing. And you can see the rejection we got off the 13. Now we're trading back down below the 5. Once again, we could be moving into that bargain territory like potentially we are with XRP. And I think that there's a lot of people looking to accumulate more XRP and cheaper. I'm one of those people who would like to take a position, but I would also like to do so at a bargain basement price. So SUI for this one as well. If we move down back closer to that $2 or down south below $2, to me, that's where things start to get really interesting. And we could look at this thing on a weekly basis, and you can see the consolidation pattern that we have on this one. You could just take a look at this trend line coming up this way, that one down that way, and the bottom of this thing puts us right at about 217 in that massive support area. So we could push down a little bit more. Weekly RSI, maybe turning things around. We'll have to see if it's able to cross back up over 50. The RSI on a daily basis, looking about like what Solana has right now. And then things really start to get interesting with Ethereum, because Ethereum might finally, so maybe Bitcoin most bullish, maybe Ethereum is starting to turn things back on, and then maybe the rest of the altcoins will follow. So we'll see if it's kind of like dragging everything else up along with it, and then leading the pack with Bitcoin, that we start to get that shift over to the altcoins, especially ones in the smaller side of the space. And if the market is going more risk on in sentiment, then the crypto market should also move with it if we're going risk on in sentiment as well. By the way, guys, if you want to see more of my analyses and more of my takes, more of my trades, you can find them over at the Discord of me and the other panel experts. I'm part of a team of people there to support people in their journey towards financial freedom and building alpha in their portfolios. And there's even a crypto guy over there named Crypto Will, who does absolutely phenomenal work in the crypto space. For me, I dabble, as I do in all different parts of different markets, including the stock market, bond market, talking more macro. For him, he specializes in crypto, and he says wonderful things and gives wonderful analyses as well. Man, he's just one of the team members that's over there besides me. Definitely worth checking out, especially when you use the code word doctor and get that 50% discount off your first month. For less than $1 a day, you can check out the products and services and also the panel of experts that are over there. We have the bread bot, which can tell you when those moves are coming to not only the crypto space, but also to maybe your favorite stocks that are out there as well. So it can really empower your trading, plus the other AI tools and advanced charting tools that are also available. And the coursework through Stockmo Academy with the technical analysis course, technical trading that goes along with that course, and then also the options course as well. Bundle them together for a match made in heaven with the code word doctor, and that's going to get you the maximum savings on those courses. Guys, let's look at the chart for Ethereum. Boom, there we go. And ETH, here we are. So Ethereum, what's it looking like? Well, first of all, I got the technicals up here for you to show you that we are in the biggest tangle right now of resistance. That was the biggest tangle of support for the longest time. And what makes it so darn tangled right now is this trend line that we have coming across here that has stuck around or has developed over a very long time. So this goes back, gets its first touch back in 2018. And then we have some major touches on it in 2022, 2023. We found the bottom going into August of 2024. And now we're getting resistance on that in present day here in June of 2025. So sitting on top of that resistance line, and you can see not only the support that it served before, but the resistance that it's making now. Getting on top of that trend line is going to be the most important thing that we can do. As per the moving averages, this is what we want to see Solana do, is we want to see it take that 5-period EMA and start pushing on the 13. And we also want to see it start taking the 50. If today we're able to close up above all three of those, the momentum is very, very ripe for Ethereum. We could have a big move coming in the near future for ETH that allows us to start pushing once again on that 2,800 line that we had for Ethereum before. Now, mind you, if I put up the simple moving averages, we'll take down the exponential ones. We got a big fat rejection off the 20 period. We are so close to a golden cross between the 50 and the 200 in the most beautiful of ways, that if we can get back up on top of that 20, which also would help us to get back on top of the 5 and the 13, this thing could take off massively for us and set up the next run that we would have for Ethereum. And maybe we take that 200 day that we just kept on getting rejected off of, and this thing flips bullish on us in the very near future. So out of the cryptos that I've presented in this video, Ethereum's probably one in the near term that I am most excited about. That's my, at least I think it's my 2-year-old daughter out there bumping against the door, or it's my wife, or it's one of the cats, or it's Casper, maybe the not so friendly ghost. In any case, for Ethereum, it's the one that I'm most excited about, at least in the near term, because I think it could really put in some outperformance that it could probably give us anywhere from about 20 to 40% movement from where it sits right now, if it's able to break resistance and if that momentum really takes off for it in the very near future here. Something big could be cooking for us. Bitcoin, also excited about that. XRP, but watch and see if that support holds. If it does, that could be a very good thing. Then we're going to watch that trend line that's to the north of it that's causing us such resistance. Since it took all that last rocket ship, and now we're just kind of stuck waiting, and we'll see if we're finally able to break higher on that one. And then SUI, come on, cheap prices for SUI token as well. Guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget about checking out those links in the description. Come on over to the Discord and join the party that's over there. Check out the courses for options trading and technical analysis trading if you really want to empower yourself and learn to build alpha in your portfolio. and strive towards financial freedom. Those courses are really, really awesomely put together by Stock Mo, by Mrs. Mo, vetted by me, and I put my seal of approval on it. Code word doctor also gets you a discount, whether you get just a single course or you bundle the 2 courses together. Thank you guys for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.